Well, let's try this again. Let's go to channel content. Currently live. Refresh the page. Yeah, now the stream is up. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that was really weird. What's good, Noah? Welcome to the chat. And of course, my dog starts barking as soon as I finally get things going. Yeah, so for some reason, the stream just wasn't showing up before. Like, I was streaming, but, like, you couldn't find it anywhere. So, that was really weird. I'm gonna go deal with my dog. I'll be right back. There we go. Sit down, buddy. Alright. Now we can do some actual normal things. Like the universe just doesn't want me to stream tonight. I consider not doing it. Alright. Make sure live broadcast. Okay, cool. Keep Twitter open. Wow, we're already getting into it. Brain of Fusion to 1 and Runic Fountain as well. We're not into predicting just yet. Of course, I tell my dog to lay down. He chooses the spot directly in front of my chair, so I can't adjust my chair to move forward, so... I'm going to, like, sit on the edge of my chair now. Alright. So, anyways, we already got a few people in. So let's talk about the ban list. So it's probably going to be really awkward because usually for these kinds of things, I'm like cutting the video and everything, so I might go silent or stutter a lot like that. But basically, we're predicting a ban list. Some people are saying early February. I think more so early March, really late February, like probably in the February 20-something. We might get one that goes into effect early March. That's what I'm thinking because we did end up getting the December one early. So I don't know, but I want to make sure I get this stream before February starts, just in case it is early February. There's my other dog. Hi, dog. I have 4 dogs. But, basically, the way I want to do this, I think we should start talking with the bands first. Let me turn this music down, because that is very loud in my ear. Even though it's probably very quiet for y'all. In fact, let me increase that a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it is very loud. But anyways, starting off with the bans. If you didn't notice, by the way, actually, I should probably talk about the format of the video we're doing. One sec, let me adjust my Microsoft. There we go. What's good, Ela? Is that how you pronounce it? Ela? Something like that? I don't know. I can't tell. But, so the format that we're going to be doing, I have a Photoshop document open, and this is like an updated version of the thing that I used. This is a thing, I used it in old Banlist prediction videos. I think I only used it like in 1 or 2 videos, because I haven't done a Banlist prediction video like that in a while. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to, we're just going to take documents, Control-C, Control-V, retransform, and we're going to put it under wherever it's supposed to go. Merli there, you know, whatever, and we'll just leave it there, and then at the end we'll go over all of it. So that's basically how it's going to go, and we're all going to make decisions on this as a group, as a team effort, rather than just me sitting behind my webcam and then saying random stuff. And this is very uncomfortable because my dog is literally right in front of my chair. Ban Kit and Barrier Madge. Hey, we are not banning Kit. Unless you mean Kitkallos. That's the only acceptable Kit to ban. Alright. But anyways, we have a good few people, so let's go ahead and start with the bans. Starting off with... Actually, I think I'm just going to open whenever we talk about a card. Should be down here, alright? Let's talk about Kitkallos. So, Kitkallos is, whoa, a bit too zoomed in there. Kitkallos is a card, that got, like, completely banned over in the OCG, and Tier is still doing stuff. However, it is kind of arguably the best card in the entire deck. Not only does it, being the material that it is, you know, Aqua, Fusion, stuff like that, allow it to just go easily back into the extra deck when recycling. And, obviously, you know, it's searching and everything, it's sending, it can basically do literally anything the deck wants. It reads like a custom card. 2 weeks before YCS or 2 days after the YCS. We don't have any confirmation, but, as I was saying, it could be either early February or early March. Some people are saying early February, I think early March, or late February goes into effect early March. But I'm not too sure yet. But, Kitkallos is basically, like, the main topic of discussion whenever people come about, like, talk about hitting tier. And so, what are we thinking about Kitkallos? Absolute ban, tier even performs in the OCG without her. Oh yeah, that's absolutely, true. But we do have to remember the OCG is a bit of a different format. You know, I'm pretty sure having, like, fucking, mill cards, or, I'm sorry, I shouldn't, swear anymore, I don't want to get demonetized. But I'm pretty sure having consistency cards, like Max C, and stuff like that, I feel like, you know, I feel like it's still a fine deck mainly because of that. Got some almond coconut tea. But, also, it just does some jank stuff over in the OCG. It goes like, fucking Draco Sack into Cherubini Dump King of the Swamp, which is really goofy, but... so, are we saying ban Kitkallos, or are we going to limit Kitkallos? Because limiting Kitkallos, honestly... So, a lot of people would be like, oh yeah, they're only playing 1 Kitkallos anyway. But hitting Kitkallos to 1 means the people that are playing 2 Kitkallos are going to have a much more dangerous situation. Because, right now, a lot of people are bumping Kitkallos back up to 2, or they will be after Photon Hypernova, because Kshatri-La making Diablosis, or other tier players making Diablosis with the Kshatri-La cards, you know, banishing a copy of Kitkallos. If that's your only copy, then you're kind of screwed, especially because it banishes face down, so you can't even crime it back. So, I'm thinking either a Kitkallos ban or a Kitkallos limit feels kind of likely. Ban Kit will leave 2 open extra deck slots to tier. I don't know. I feel like banning Kitkallos over here is different than banning Kitkallos over in the OCG, where everything's a bit more... honestly, I kind of like to say that in the OCG, everything's kind of a bit more janky. Like, they have, like, some really weird decisions. Like, they were playing 2 Gamma before it even got semi-limited. I don't know. But, like, remember, this is not just a wish list, but also more of a prediction list. Like, what are we predicting? What do we feel is going to happen? Personally, I think Kitkallos going to 1 is something that Konami would do. Especially because they did something like Hulk to 1, which was niche, but still important. Zoom that out a little bit. Alright. It seems we got a few lurkers in chat, so... I think wanted just to milk the cow a bit more after Photon Hypernova. Yeah. Like, I feel like that's something that they would do. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and do a poll because it seems like we got a lot of lurkers in chat. So, Kitkallos. Ban 1 unlimited. We're going to use the poll system that we used during the other Banlist video, because that was actually really good. Alright, so we got 3 votes. 1 for ban, 2 for 1. Sorry if my, like, face is really close or really far from the webcam. Like, again, my dog is right in front of my chair, and he will not move. Kitkallos is so easy to recycle. I think it being banned is the only way, but I think they will limit, if anything, to simply acknowledge that it's a problem. Yeah. Like, I really feel like it, because that, again, that means that the tier players that were playing 2 to avoid Diablosis and stuff, now they're going to be in a lot more dangerous of a situation. So it'll still affect tier, but not, like, super heavy. Tier really only plays 1 now, but yeah, like I said, though, like, people are bumping it back up because of Diablosis. Like, between both Diablosis and Kshatri-La Unicorn, like, you gotta play multiple Kitkallos. Make Diablosis relevant and tier would still be insane for one more format. You're acting like Diablosis isn't even relevant now. Like, even before all the new Kshatri-La stuff, Kshatri-La itself is already using Diablosis and everyone fucking hates it. It's like, Diablosis is already, like, a crazy card. Because, like, even if you're, like, even if Kitkallos was at 2, or, like, not at 2, people were playing it at 2, and, like, you want to go for something else, even banishing a toolbox card, like Garura, or, like, hitting something like a Spray Elf, or, like, even the Roll Kallos, like, even just those hits are really, like, strong off the Diablosis, but then you also have to consider that Diablosis is also then going to rip off the top of the deck. Like, Diablosis is a crazy card, and it's really funny, because for a prize card, everyone was like, oh, this card's kind of just okay, but, like, now that there's actually a deck that can utilize it really dangerously, it's a really big problem. Ban Diablosis. We'll be getting to Diablosis later. Banishing Kit with Unicorn is the only place Speedroid has this format. Alright. I saw some lists playing side deck Zeus second copy for cash matchups. Yeah. Honestly, I might do that for Bird Up, because honestly, Bird Up's, like, biggest strength against Kshatri-La going second is the ability to make Zeus, because all you need is the 2 zones, and, if they Unicorn or Diablosis rip, then you're in a really bad, like, you're in for a world of hurt. Because, like, other than drawing into board breakers, because I'm going to be playing, like, Lava Golem in the main and everything like that. But, like, for your extra deck and stuff, like, you gotta have that Zeus in order to wipe the board. Because, Kshatri-La has a pretty bad equalizer situation, which, oh, man, I forgot. I was supposed to upload it earlier and then schedule it. I'll have to do that later. But I have my tier list coming up, and that's some of the points that I mentioned for Kshatri-La. My monthly tier list that I do for all the decks. Oh, looks like my dog is moving now. You want up on the bed, buddy? I already let you outside, dude. I'm not letting you back outside. You took like a million years. Come on. Come on, buddy. Main Lava Golem Giga Chad. Yeah, dude, Lava Golem is like cracked. Alright. So it looks like we're probably not going to be getting any more votes here. So it looks like the main consensus is Kitkallos to 1. Oh, wrong page. Control A, Control C. Let's go here. Let's take Kitkallos. Kitkallos to... Let's make it like maybe 40 by 40 to 1. Okay. So, that's the first card of discussion. Next up, we have... basically, we're going to go through literally all of the tier names. So, what are we thinking about Merli? So, Merli is the only one, I think, that is at 3 over in the OCG. I think they have, like, 1 Scheiren, 2 Havnis, 1 Rhino. Drytron worst deck. Nah, you right. But Merli is the only one that's over that's at 3. But some have argued that Merli is arguably the strongest one due to her level. You know, being level 2, allow you to, like, use Sprite Elf and stuff like that. And so, I'm wondering what people think will happen to Merli. Elo, your message got held for review. Drytron is base shut mouth. No, don't worry. Kuwait's my friend. It's like an inside joke between us with our other friends. But, yeah, so Merli, I feel like, is a very interesting case because she is really strong due to her level, but she is just another normal summon for the deck on top of like Rhino Heart or like any other things like Diviner they might be playing. And like Merli does have its uses with the elf and everything, but I feel like it's a bit of an interesting case, so let's cope together. Let's go ahead. Merli. I don't think it'll see a ban, but I might as well put the option there anyway. This card needs to be taken out back, and I really hope Konami is smart and at least hits it to 1. Wasn't Hani running 2 already? Was he? I haven't seen Hani's list. I only look at like the occasional pro player list. I think the last time I seriously looked at one, other than like messing around and looking at Jesse's list, was like when I copied, or not copied, but I took inspiration from Raphael and Evan's Bird Up list back when Bird Up was full power. Most people saying that's going to stay at 3. Honestly, I kind of agree. Like, again, this is the only one over in the OCG that's actually at 3. Which I find interesting, honestly. But I don't know what their elf situation is. I don't know if they have elf still. OCG ban list is weird. 67% say 3, 33% say 1. His reason was like it's basically either a normal summon or a search, so don't want to see it that much in opening hand, which is understandable. I mean, that's fair, but personally, I feel like maxing out on tier names is like the best way to go for your mills. Because it is like, while it is pretty easy, especially with the Shizu cards if you're playing both millers, it's super easy to see your like all your names. But like, I feel like just maxing them out. When Odd Eye is good, never. Maybe when they get that custom Odd Eyes Phantom Opera or whatever that was on the AI bot. Alright. We got 7 votes here. I feel like that's probably some of the peak. So it looks like most people are saying staying at 3. So we won't put it on the list here at all. Let's close this out. Next up, we have, which one is it? Oh god, I might have to download some stuff off to the side, by the way. Like, right now I'm gonna have to download this next one, so be patient with me. I don't have all of them downloaded currently, so. Ooh, this one's nice and high quality. Bada bing, bada boom. Cool. Alright. Unlock the shock. No, we all agreed in the last Banlist discussion stream. No shock. But, next up we have Scheiren. So, Scheiren, I believe, is at 1 over in the OCG. And honestly, Scheiren's probably one of the stronger ones. Not only does she allow you to special from your hand and then mill 3, she also triggers whatever you send 90% of the time, or just puts in a Shizu card engraved. And then on top of that, she's also level 4. Wow, my dog snores so loud. But she's also a level 4, and she also has a really big stat line. And honestly, Scheiren kind of just, honestly, it grants the deck a lot of its, like, uses. Scheiren's too generic, it's gonna be a problem outside of tier someday or later. Yeah, like, honestly, so Scheiren's actually been seeing a lot of play in other random decks. I was playing against a Synchron player last week on Wednesday, and they literally had Scheiren in their Synchron deck. Because it's literally a free mill that also specials at level 4 body from hand and sends something from your hand. Like, this card's honestly kind of bonkers. So, in that regard, what do we think is going to happen to Scheiren? God, blah, 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 blah. Enzo said 1 and then now says ban. Scheiren did 2. You think, I mean, Konami over here does really love the semi-limited list, so you think they'll really put Scheiren to 2? Oh wow, we got a very interesting spread here. Think they're going to do something stupid with this card? And remember, y'all, this isn't like a wish list or anything. Like, we're actually trying to predict what Konami is going to do. And then, while that's going on, 2 seems like the first quarantine hit before limit. Makes sense. Alright. What's good, Nidak? That's how you pronounce your name. Alright, I gotta download the image for this one next. Ugh. I hate that the first thing that pops up is always TCG Player, because TCG Player has WebP files. And you can't use WebP files for, like, anything. Actually, can you use WebP files? Yeah, no. Cannot complete your request because it's not the right kind of document. Like, I know you can't use them in Premiere, which is, like, the most annoying thing. And then the website that I use for most of my WebP to PNG conversions is like, you've reached your limit of 10 minutes of conversion time per day, which is like, that makes no sense. Okay, so 20% say ban, 20% say 1, 30% say 2, and 30% say 3. That is interesting. Very interesting. So we're going to need to break the tiebreaker. Oh, that is not how you spell that. I don't want to get hit with a minor spelling mistake. So it looked like it was a tie between 2 and 3. So let's do one more pull. Konami needs to hit the gas cards in tier like Scheiren, Havnis, Kit. See, Havnis isn't really like... I wouldn't consider it a gas card. Calm down, buddy. Okay. Looks like most are saying 2. I think my dog's ready to go to bed with my parents, but, like, I don't know what they're doing right now. And now my cat is trying to, like, squirm under my door. I have some stupid animals, dude. Honest discussion will be very interesting for sure. Yeah, that's up next. Alright. Okay, so it looks like most people are saying 2. Interesting. Very interesting. I did not think I'd see Scheiren to 2, but that does feel very Konami. Let's go maybe 25. I'm trying to make them all like a consistent size, so... maybe 23. Dog, don't start, please. I will cry and scream if you start barking right now. Okay. I hate to do it so... or it's actually not that early. It's like 20 minutes in. I hate to do it so early in stream, but like I think my dog might want out again, so... I'm going to hit you with an ad break. I'll probably come back to my empty chair. So behave while the teacher is out of the class. I'll be right back. Alright. I'm back. It turns out he just went in my parents' room and their door was open now. Who is throwing paper? Stop throwing paper in my classroom, bruh. Alright. Anyways, back to our discussion. Alright. Making sure my other dog wasn't whining. It sounded like it. Next up... cool, I do have one. Havnis. And there will be none of that joke in my chat. You can do it at locals. Don't do it in my chat. I don't want to get demonetized. But, what do we think about Havnis? So Havnis is a very interesting topic of discussion, because Havnis is the main thing that made Tearlaments stand out from a deck like Sprite, in that you could play on your opponent's turn. Like, you can literally, your opponent could start playing, and before they have a chance to set up any disruptions to stop you, you can essentially, you can potentially combo off on their turn off of one card, and she's one of the main reasons why hand traps aren't really that amazing, because you could end up using 1 or 2 hand traps on your own turn while the tier player is using Havnis, and then they only used one card. You sacrifice like one or two, and they still have like a full 5-card hand to go off next turn. So, and not to mention, like, they could dump a Shizu cards now off of it. So not only could that extend their combo even more with the millers, but the shufflers also can end up being more disruption before you even get a chance to play. So, Havnis is definitely a very interesting one. And so, what do we think is going to happen to Havnis? Personally, I don't see them banning any tier names. Like, not now especially, but if ever, I don't think any tier names will get banned except for, like, the extra deck. But, let's see. Ban it, Giga Cringe card. It's not a prediction list, though. Like, the thing is, we're trying to guess what Konami's going to do. Or it's not a wish list, it's a prediction list. Got one person said ban, one said 2. You're telling me you can't think of the joke with the word Havnis? Like, come on. I'd say it myself, but it'd be too easy. Someone said 3. I'm seeing a lot of 1. A lot of 1. Alright, so we have, looks like 10 viewers with 9 votes, so I'm pretty sure I'll end it there. I'm gonna hit this card, they'll 100% limit it. How much here play? I want Konami to calm down. I'll let that go through. Your chats keep getting held. Okay. I'm gonna hit this card, they'll 100% limit it because of how obviously powerful this card is. We all know, however, it is objectively incorrect. This card deserves to be at 3. Burmy, how about I, like, beat you to death? No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna finish that. Anyways. So, it looks like most people are saying to 1. So, it looks like this along to 1 with Kitkallos. Trying to get him about equal size, equal positioning. Unplayed tier playing against Havnis is unironically fun. I don't know. I disagree, mainly because Havnis can be used like on either turn. It's like a super poly situation for me, where it's like, if it's used for its intended purpose, it's not like the worst thing ever, but you can also use it, like the tier player can combo off, and then you can start playing, you break through their entire board, but then they have a Havnis in hand, or like, you popped a Solyak or something, then they get Havnis, and then they just play anyway. Personally, I just don't like Havnis. But anyways, that is it for the tier names themselves. We also have, for the, I believe this is the final card directly involving tier, we have Perlereino. I had to copy-paste because it's a WebP file. So, well, see, it's not even about, being on the opponent's turn on your turn. It's just annoying because, like, you can use it as a hand trap, or you can, like, or you can just use it whenever. I don't know, it's weird. But anyways, hope more decks get, Havnis-like cards in the near future. See, hand trap cards for archetypes can be done really good. Like, Fluffle getting Edgem Scythe, not only was that, like, a field day for me, I love Fluffle, and, like, when that support got revealed, I was, like, over the moon. But, like, there's a big power difference, though, clearly, between Edgem Scythe and Tearlaments Havnis, you know? But, onto Primeval Planet Perlereino. So, this is probably one of the most broken field spells in the game. Not only allowing you to Rhoda on activation like Trickstar Light Stage, but also giving a really big stab boost to not only Tearlaments, but all fusion monsters. And then you literally just get to pop a card whenever you fusion summon. So, basically, this is at, I believe, 1 in the OCG. And it's a card that people, I think for the last, like, 2 lists were predicting to go to 1. And it still hasn't happened yet. But, however, it is probably one of the easiest ways to hit tier without, like, hitting tier. Like, it's an easy way to slap them on the wrist instead of, like, you know, putting a Glock to their head. So, what do we think about Perlereino? There we go. I think limiting other names make Havnis not as much of a problem, but I get disagreeing with that. See, like, the problem though also with Havnis is, like, as you can see from the OCG, when the tier names get lowered, they just start playing Shadal names, and they just start making Winda. And coming from experience with a friend who plays a Shizu tier, who plays Winda for the funny, Winda is not fun to deal with, especially if you don't play Droplet. I mean, if you don't play Droplet, that's on you, but, like, I don't have my Droplets yet. I need to pick my Droplets up. So, like, even if you limit the tier names, there's gonna Havnis into, like, 2 Shadal cards, and not only are they gonna get, like, pluses off of that, but, like, they're also just gonna make Winda, and it's like, just draw the out, idiot. Alright, so we got, someone said ban, someone said 2, but most people are saying 1. So it looks like, going over here, when it's not surviving in the OCG for long, and I hope it doesn't live for long here. I don't know, we've always said that. We've been, like, people have been asking for a Winda ban since 2014, and, you know, look what that happened. Look what happened there. Tiers Grappa and Winda Turbo and OCG, yeah. Like, literally that. Alright, so we got a semi-limited Scheiren. We have a limited Kitkallos, Havnis, and Perlereino for the tier hits. So this next one... Do I have... Okay, cool, I do. Alright. This isn't directly tier, but it's basically for tier. Oh, that's zoomed in a bit more than it's supposed to be. Whatever. It'll be zoomed out a bit, but everyone knows what Super Poly does. Ban Hopium and Yu-Gi-Oh players. Okay. Ban this match? Not for real. Anyways, Super Poly. So Super Poly is a card that... I don't remember if it got straight banned. I think it got limited and then banned first. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember, because I wasn't playing competitively or paying attention to ban lists until Super Poly was already banned. But basically, Super Poly came back slowly. I think it went from like 1 to 2 to 3. And, you know, it was fine at first. However, we got Garura, the Wings of Resonant Life, aka the biggest mistake Konami's ever made when it comes to Super Poly, because literally almost any deck, whether they have same attribute, different types, same type and attribute, or just, you know, other random combinations like that, Super Poly literally just becomes an auto-win button half the time. Not only can you use this as a board breaker, like after your opponent's already done their full combo, you can go into Mud Dragon or Garura with this, but it can also be set as a disruption, like Droplet going first, meaning that they could break your entire board with like Evenly Matched or something, but depending on the rest of their hand, you can just Super Poly them. They lose 2 of their monsters, and you get 1 monster that also, in the case of Garura, pluses when it leaves the field. Okay, so looking at chat now, to 1 because I just started playing Predaplant. Gen X becomes tier 0, that's my prediction. It's the most unfair board-breaking card with Garura in the format. Alright, so... I honestly, I agree with that. I hate Super Poly. It's coming from someone that was really happy when Super Poly came off at first because I was playing Shadal. But now at this point, it's become like a really big problem. But there is some counter argument saying that in the current moment, Super Poly isn't seeing as much play, be it in the side deck or at all, because it is not that good in the tier mirror. However, I'd like to counter that by saying it's a card that will still see play in general, like back and forth between formats. Not to mention that I think tier isn't going to be tier 0 anymore. I feel like it's going to bump to like this is going to be the best deck still, but I think even Kshatri-La is because there's going to be like around 4 different really strong decks you can play, and because a deck like Kshatri-La like kind of balances it out. It's like the Thunder Dragon to Sky Striker in 2019. I think that tier might start playing Super Poly again, because even though it's not as good against a deck like Kshatri-La, it's still really good to like break literally anything else. So, with all of this in mind, what do we think is going to happen to Super Poly? Let's see. I should it for being limited or banned, but in reality, it probably won't be a hit. We can cope. We can cope. And see, I hate the idea of, like, limiting busted cards like this, because, like, at that point, it just becomes really sacky and annoying when you draw it. But, I mean, hey, I guess that probably still wouldn't stop that 1-tier player I was playing against who drew literally all 3 games against me when I was otherwise almost undefeated. Should be limited or banned, but I think it'll either remain at 3 or go to 2. We got 44% on ban, 1%, or 44% on 1, and 11% at 3. just ban will be happy. I mean, yeah, but again, we are trying to actually predict what Konami will do. As much as I want this card gone, I also don't, like, personally think they're going to, address it. Or if they do, it'll be, like, to 1. Alright. Well, we're actually getting a lot of viewers now. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, this is much better because, like, you didn't know this, but, I was actually sitting here, like, waiting for people to come into the stream to start anything. I waited for, like, 8 or 9 minutes before I realized I'm like, you just can't see the stream anywhere. Like, there was no notification. You couldn't see it on the homepage. Like, Garura is the biggest reason to ban it now. It's such an unhealthy card with Garura now, and in Tier Mirrors it accomplishes nothing at minimum. The only one not to suffer from it is the one who plays it. That's a very valid point. And see, the interesting thing is that Garura is a really good card even without it. Like, Tier still would play and does play Garura even without Super Poly because it's a pretty good generic name. I don't think Garura in itself is a bad card. I just think in combination with Super Poly, it's a problem. I think, well, one, they'll probably want it to exist to sell Garura. I mean, it has been around almost half a year now. August, September, October, November, December, January. Yeah, it's been like roughly half a year, actually, since the release of Garura. Just be Super Poly target and send a grade to get a draw. They had to have made Garura Super Poly explicitly. They want it to be part of the meta. That's true. But it looks like we have 12 votes right now. And basically, half of them are saying to ban. Should I give it a little more time? I'll give it like another 30 seconds. Because we do have 20 actual viewers. Don't be shy, by the way, if you're just lurking. Like, there's nothing wrong with lurking, but, like, you can chat. Like, it's totally cool. We're in a chill, calm environment here. Alright. So, it looks like nothing is changing in the poll. So, it looks like people are thinking Super Poly is getting the axe. Let's see with all the hits and without Garura, Tier still the strongest deck. Yeah. Oh yeah, Garura's a TCG exclusive, isn't it? I didn't even think about that. Like, Garura is literally a TCG exclusive, isn't it? That is wild. I totally forgot about that. I think Super Poly would be fine if it was like Droplet where you could not or only not respond based on what card type they discard. Honestly, one of my biggest beasts is probably not being able to discard with it. Or to respond to it, sorry, not the discard. But like just not being able to respond to it is really annoying because when I'm playing Dinomorphia, there's one of the biggest outs to the deck because you lose both of your monsters, they get a Dragostapelia, and like you can't Judgment it. It's like fuck. And I'd be fine with that too because I side Judgment and Bird Up for when I'm going first. What are the odds Bystial gets hit? Just bought them coming back after not playing for a while. We'll talk about that a bit later, Connor. But thank you for asking. I believe... Alright. I can move that next. Yeah, we can actually talk about the Bystials next. Alright. Kitkallos should indeed be banned. Just look at the OCG. So probably gets banned. I unironically hope it gets an errata to lock it or make the cost greater. I think it's actually a very cool card with interesting counterplay in certain decks. I think it's an interesting card, but like at worst, you're literally getting a +1. Because like this card like it is kind of like a non-issue thing, and you're moving 2 things from your opponent's board that could potentially be boss monsters to make your boss monster. So topping every event. But isn't it mainly because they're using King of the Swamp to act as Kitkallos? I don't know if that's mainly it, but the problem is that, like, it's just Tier. Like, the design for Tier is so wild because it's a deck that has almost no flaws. Like, the only real issue with it, like, the only downside to the deck is the gambling aspect. But with so many things that literally just say, send from your deck to the graveyard, or the sheer amount of mills you can get from cards like Agito and everything like that, that's literally the only downside to Tier, and it's still not even that much of a downside. If only Tier locked you into Fusion. Honestly, if Tier locked you into Fusions, I would have probably no issue with it. This coming from someone that hates D-Barrier, but at least then you'd be able to D-Barrier them, and it would like, matter a lot. But, like, I don't know. Not to mention they wouldn't just, like, sit on Baguska after Shifter. But anyways, so this is what our list is looking like now. Let's go ahead and get into the next topic of discussion, the Bystials. How much is that going to zoom in? Still too much. I have it like a bit extra zoomed in on OBS so you don't see like the sidebars, like the color palette and everything. So, next up, we have the Bystials. So the Bystials, they're interesting, right? Because they're an archetype that, I mean, it's obviously made to counter like Albaz stuff, but they ended up being like the perfect counter to Tear. And the problem with that, though, is that not only does Tear use the Ishizu cards anyway, and so while they don't get the fusion summon, they can prevent their stuff from getting banished and the Bystial from resolving. Like, it's like why Called By is not like amazing of a card right now. Which is weird considering Called By was like a card that's like always been, people want it banned for like ages. But like the Bystials also ended up gatekeeping literally every other deck with any light or dark presence. 1 second. Why'd the music stop? Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, it's because I wasn't using Zelda and Chill and Zelda and Chill too. I was just on regular Zelda and Chill. Hold up. Next up, let's go. I want to listen to some Yu-Gi-Oh! Lo-Fi. Let's hope I don't get copyrighted. 50 Tum. I love the title of this video. Yu-Gi-Oh! Lo-Fi Relaxing Beats as Duel / Send People to the Shadow Realm 2. Okay. There is a lot in chat going on right now. Sorry, I'll get to it in just a second. Okay. So DD Crow's 2400 body at search each other is absurd. Look at Magnum, what's abs? I don't think that's abs. I think that's just muscle in general. How much would change if Bystials were not quick effects? So you could only crow with them on your turn. Necro Valley and Abyss Dweller are so good this format. Almost every rogue deck are going for those. Alright. So, yeah, honestly, if the Bystials weren't quick effects, like, if they could just never be quick effects, I mean, not only would that make them worse against the thing they're supposed to combat anyway, because, like, you don't have to worry about your opponent only, like, sending off a Mirror J, but I feel like they'd definitely be a lot more balanced, but the problem definitely lies with the fact that they're literally... They are DD Crow for light and dark monsters, which is two of the most represented attributes in the game, like, at any point. And then they also, on top of that, they all have different effects, some of which searching each other, some getting a free send to the graveyard, and then I'm not even going to talk about Bystial Baldrake. Like, Baldrake is a whole other can of worms. I mean, they lose all their interest to be Ignite and not Quick. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, though. Like, Bystials were mainly meant to, like, be their own thing with, like, the branded stuff. Like, they weren't really supposed to be, like, an engine. But, I mean, we can't really change that. Like, that's not... Like, a lot of my friends are, like... Or not a lot of my friends, but one of my friends, he knows who he is if he's in chat. Like, he wants to, like, a bunch of things to be errata to, like, say other things. But, like, erratas aren't really that commonplace. But there's nothing we can really do about them being quick effects or not. The real thing... is that what do we think is going to happen to the Bystials? Because while they are some of the main counterplay to Tear, counterplay, in quotes, they also gatekeep so many other decks. And out of all of them to be hit, Magnuma is the most likely option, because it literally searches out other ones, which is kind of bonkers. Oh yeah, doesn't...